Assalamualaikum to Madam Nat. Today we'll be presenting about supply chain management and intelligence system review based on the movie documentary called Buy Now The Shopping Conspiracy. Now before I start, let me introduce myself. My name is Akil and these are my members.
My name is Muhammad Amar Yazid, and we have
Hi, my name is Chris Valiant.
Alright, so before we start with the explanation, we'll be going through introduction, analysis and discussion, individual reflection, and lastly, conclusion. Sorry, sekejap. By Now, The Shopping Conspiracy is a new documentary by Emmy Award nominee Nick Stacy. This show explores the environmental and psychological impacts of excessive consumerism. The focus areas in this documentary is to show the manipulative tactics behind consumer habits, the influence of major companies such as Amazon, Adidas, and Apple. Next is one-click buying that limits time for critical thinking. One-click buying that limits time for critical thinking. So here, the major companies, like I said before, they do not give time for the buyers to think before they buy the items. Next, deliberate reduction of product lifespan to encourage replacement. Lastly, difficulty in repairing items versus replacing them. So, purposes. This documentary is to reveal how the companies exploit psychological tactics that influence consumer to purchase the items. They don't give them time, like I said before, they don't give them time to make decisions. The method that they use are targeted advertising, artificial scarcity, and persuasive branding. So the effects on the consumers are they create a false sense of urgency. So they make ads that are appealing to the consumers. Next is they encourage buying more than necessary. That is pretty self-explanatory. Okay, moving on. Impact of technology. The rise of online shopping and social media influences amplifies the effect of the buyer. It leads to impulse purchases driven by emotions and not needs. The consequences, they boost the economic growth for businesses to waste their supplies on. So let's say they have a lot of demand and then suddenly the demand drop, so they have to throw away those remainings, making it more wasteful to the environment. Lastly, it promotes a culture of mindless consumption, just waste of money. Okay, I'm passing this analysis and discussion to Amar.
all right. Thank you, Akil. What you say just now is very concerning and very mindful. So yeah, I'm continuing this. Now is the analysis and discussion. Before we head to the main contents, I would like to brief about supply chain management and intelligence system. So, supply chain management is a department where they handle logistics operations like delivery, packaging, labeling, and also reverse logistics. And also they handle the stocking and inventory space managing processes. So for the IS intelligence system, it is some sort of a tool that the supply chain management department uses to increase their ease and smooth or and also efficiency during their daily operations. So without further ado, and let's jump to the main contents. So they have 5 rules based on the movie, which is the sell more, waste more, lie more, and also hide more, and last but not least, control more. So the first main points. Sell more. It focuses on demand forecasting automated inventory management systems for supply chain management departments. This is like the supply chain management use customer relationship management technologies to track down purchase history, preferences, and trends that allows for personalized marketing and product recommendations. It's like they use CRM techs, which they're building their relationship with the customers to gain their trust, their preferences, and data. Well, and further in the future, they use the data to produce new products or the existing products, they make a renovation with them. So for example, in here, Walmart and Amazon uses AI-driven technologies to encourage impulse buying from customers. So in this, if you have a application like Amazon, they have a application, right? So it functions like a store or online shopping app. Once you scroll it down and then you found a product that you want to buy, you click it, you make a purchase, and after you make a purchase, you notice that your recommendations or search bar, it pops up the previous purchases that you made. So it's like it, I can say it forces you to buy more with on the same store or online retail store. So that is to sell more, and let's moving on to the waste more. It consists of reverse logistics and sustainable supply chain strategies, creating technologies such like RFID, planted in some products for disposal, refurbishment, or remanufacturing more efficiently. So I don't want to read the example. Example is just so easy, so I'm going to make my own opinion. Um, for example, there are some companies like HP, Acer, or Asus like that. They produce laptops, right? So after they produce it, within the producing operation, producing period, they have planted some sort of a chip that kindly functions as a location traceability, where if consumers not using it anymore, they will throw it away. So to avoid waste more or damaging the environment, the producers might locating or trace the location uh, with the chip on the product. They locate it and went to the location. They pick it up, and further to do a more efficient way of disposal process. So the first is me, Iyaz's perspective. So without further ado, in my perspective, the 5 rules mentioned above are very important, especially for retailers or any kind of retailers that operates in any retail stores. Why did I say this important? Because they can adapt to the rules within the operations. And it's very functionable by me. It is to ensure smooth ease, efficiency, and better observation duties to achieve best brand for their retail store. But keep in mind tech, that as technologies evolve, there is also along with the less production of damaging or giving negative impacts to the environment. I totally agree with this because as day by days, years by years, technologies keep evolving, and within the period, I also want that technologies don't or produce less or low production of damaging or giving the negative impacts to the environment. So it will provide or consume the balance of the ecosystem. So as my suggestion, retailers need to comply 100% retail standard rules, regulations, and terms. Do not forget to mention that environmental rules and standard regulations too in order to ensure environmental safety, health, and hygiene. So even though they have many rules to comply with, if companies don't want to comply 100% of them, I suggest you retailers company need to comply 100% of the standard rules only. And not just that, the environmental rules and standard regulations too, they have to comply 100% so that the balance is perfect and they don't need to worry about future waste. Yes. So that is all from me, and I'm passing this, and I'm letting Akil to take over. Proceed.
Alright, thank you, Amar, for your perspective. Now, for my perspective, this show revealed how retailers use psychological tactics, as I mentioned in the introduction. They use scarcity, they urge the buyers to buy stuff that they don't need, and pay influencer to target their audience and to manipulate them. This show raised awareness among consumers to be careful before they buy something. This show also prompt to help the consumers to think and do critical thinking about the purchases. They also, this documentary also shows that they should not they should not trust what they should not trust the ads or the fancy looking stuff online. They have to reduce the blind trust in the marketing tactics that the corporation use to target these people. So my suggestion is to promote and support circular retail models so that they can reduce the environmental waste that these big companies do to the nature. The circular retail includes clothing rental services, resale platforms such as Depop, ThredUp in America, repair services for extended product life such as phones, laptops, or any electronic gadgets, and product take-back programs for recycling or refurbishing. Companies such as Uniqlo, H&M, and bundle shops, they reuse, clean, and they sell back the unwanted clothes. So shifting from constant new production to reuse and longevity helps to lower the carbon footprint, reduce landfill waste, and last but not least, conserve natural resources. That is all from my perspective. I'm going to be passing it to my last member, which is Chris.
Chris' perspective. I will support companies that adhere to sustainability measures and take diligent research into their green policies, including the packaging and documentation of ethical manufacture. And the second one is to avoiding impulse buying and valuing quality over quantity. This means spending on long-lasting and fixable product items instead of replacing them immediately, as to reduce waste and environmental impact. And the last one is to buy from neighborhood stores and farmer markets, as to reducing the environmental waste and associated with long distance shipping. And my suggestion is I will participating actively in recycling, minimizations of waste, and environmental friendly consumption. This can contribute towards a retail context that is geared towards environmental management and sustainability. That's all from me. Thank you.
Alright, so the last point, the conclusion. In conclusion, by now, the Shopping Conspiracy documentary is more just than a critique of consumer culture. It is a wake-up call to the people that loves to buy and waste their money, waste their energy to buy things that in the end they don't need it. In a few months they would just throw it away and buy new stuff. Other than that, the documentary exposes manipulative tactics used in modern retail and advertising, which we can see today. They use influencers to promote their brands, their stuff, which is not good. Lastly, it challenges viewers to think critically about their shopping habits. Like I mentioned before, this show makes the audience think first before they do something. Next is it promotes greater consumer awareness, ethical consumption, and sustainable thinking. It sparks important conversations about the sustainability, the waste, and the true cost of overconsumption. As a result, this show has helped shift consumer behavior toward more mindful choices, encourage the retail industry to adopt more responsible practices. These are example of companies that are helping slash not helping the environment. Uh, and that is it. That is all. Thank you for listening and Eid Mubarak.